Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So the Astral Lockbox is getting another update. You can see on the tooltip here the following rewards. And yes, you may quickly spot it's going to obtain this Zariel companion, which there were only ever 100 within game, that is currently selling for over 60 million Astral Diamonds. Additionally, it contains the Frost Giantess and the Cunning Mimic, not to mention a few other companions which will sell for a pretty good chunk. Something that paying players might be very upset about is indeed the return of this Frost Giantess mount, which I have right here, and I can run around on it. I didn't pay a penny to get it. And the same goes with this Cunning Mimic companion. Checking back during the Winter Festival when they had the Winter Zen deals on Thursday the 16th of December, they were giving out $100 for the Cunning Mimic and $150 for the Mythic Frost Giantess. So I can definitely see, with regards to this update to the Astral Lockbox, a lot of those paying players may not exactly be feeling very happy that all of a sudden their exclusive mountain companion has become available to a lot more players. Now, with regards to this Zariel companion, of which there are only 3 in the auction house, this originally came from the exclusive campaign, the Redeemed Citadel, which is no longer available. In Milestone 3, you were able to enter into a competition to obtain as much favor as possible during that month. And the top 100 people who got on this list, who got a certain amount of points, got this Zariel companion. And that was it. No other place in the entire game could you obtain this companion. However, on the Zen market, they did come out with a very similar companion, which was, I believe, Zordial or Sordial, and it had very similar powers. However, again, I can absolutely see why you would be upset that now they release it as a companion anybody will be able to obtain just with some Astral Diamonds. Now, of course, you could obtain Zariel before with just some Astral Diamonds on the auction house, but the price is definitely going to go down from 60 million. So let's go ahead and open 1,000 of these Astral Lockboxes, and we'll go and show you our results after just doing so, whether or not it's worth it to be opening these or not. So after opening 1,000 of these new Astral Lockboxes, you can see all of the following rewards that we did obtain. See, there's a whole bunch of insignias there, but most importantly, we did indeed obtain some of the most exclusive and rare rewards possible. You can see we got 2 of those Frost Giantesses, a Feywild Stag selling for over 3.5 million, Frost Salamander very dirt cheap on the auction house, this one only just over 400k, and 2 of these Sorktux Blue Tarantulas, which is another exclusive mount that you can't find currently on the auction house, along with a Tenester's floating disc. And this red variant actually sells for a decent chunk, nearly 1.5 million. You can see that one's red, and the cheaper ones are all this blue color. And on top of that, the companions we did obtain, we did indeed get our hands on a Zariel companion. There were only ever 100 of these in game beforehand, hence its price tag over 60 million. And yes, we did indeed obtain 2 Incubuses, which is basically exactly like the Succubus. The Succubus selling for over 5.5 million, and the Incubus also at a similar price tag. Just be aware that you can also get both those companions from this Charmer pack, so don't get scammed on any prices. And then we did obtain 2 of these Cunning Mimics. The Cunning Mimic again was exclusive to the Zen sale, where you had to spend $100 to get it. 3 of these Honey Badgers, not the best companion, but they does rank pretty high on a dummy test, especially if they don't receive a lot of damage. And this one's selling for 950k, otherwise it was before Zen market exclusive at 1,500 Zen. And lastly, an Owlbear Cup. And this one still being like the best augment to be using on a DPS, at least most of them, in conjunction with the icosahedron stone, means it's still selling for a considerable amount, over 2.5 million. With that, we also obtained a massive amount of trade bars, 47,200. That means average box gave us 47.2 trade bars, which is wonderful for getting upgrade tokens when you spend them on the 20% discount. Whole bunch of refinement points, which really doesn't matter at this point anymore. And let's go and convert all of our insignias to powder and see how many we obtain there. Include the legendary ones. I'll need to just drag and drop them, I guess. And the total amount of dust that we obtain, we already have 61,000. We convert all of that. Yes, indeed, the legendary ones as well. Go ahead and click finish on that. And there you go. We obtained 6,320 of that powder with a bonus of 234. That's not too bad. That's about 2 mythic insignias with a bit spare left over. But again, that's 1,000 Astral Lockboxes, which is a total of about 60 million Astral Diamonds. Most people won't even spend a tenth of that on Astral Lockboxes, but still, that's a lot. And considering this Zariel companion having a price tag of like 66 million Astral Diamonds, yeah. We'll see where that price goes with this companion now releasing here in this lockbox. I know a lot of people will probably be pissed about this. Again, there were only ever 100 in game due to the Redeemed Citadel, as I mentioned earlier. And on top of that, this Frost Giantess, wow, you had to spend, as again we said, $150 to actually obtain that mythic mount. So here we have it again, the animation of the Frost Giantess, and you'll run around in the basket on the back of your giant, feeling a little oddly back there, but similar size as you had with the Confetti Machination. Space power is just a little goofy jump there. And then we have the Zariel Companion. Massive companion right there. Very unique in the fact that you're actually having a companion of one of the bosses within the trial of Zariel's challenge. Personally, I believe they need to increase the effectiveness of Zariel's Shatterfall. It should, in my opinion, increase the damage the targets take by 10%, not 1%. Now, I would like to make another video where I do indeed test out that Zariel companion along with the Cunning Mimic, and we can also do the Incombust and the Honey Badger again while we're at it. Just going in combat here and checking out quickly what abilities Zariel does have. She has very similar abilities to what we see in the actual trial. The damage right now doesn't seem to be amazing, but we don't have a companion enhancement. We don't have a very good build right here, so we can't really judge anything based on what she's doing right now. This being her sword fall, and she does indeed cause the vulnerability effect. Who knows, that vulnerability could actually be 10%, even though the tooltip's only saying 1%, but we'll see. I haven't heard anybody give much hype on it, so I'll test that again later. Another interesting fact is the companion, the Cunning Mimic. This one right here. Again, you had to spend over $100 in order to obtain this Cunning Mimic by buying Zen. This companion actually has some pretty unique powers in the fact that it seems it can taunt enemies and then go immune to damage after taunting them. So just checking out in combat here real quick, we can see there he seems to have taunted them and then essentially gone into his immune state. It is a little odd with that exclamation mark above his head, but right now I have aggro against both of these dummies. So potentially if he can properly taunt them, then he should take aggro, unless he's just taunting by dealing a bit of damage with increased threat. That would be a little bit sad, but it could be a little bit overpowered if he does have a top of the threat list power, as you could have that then in said boss fight. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be very impressive. He's not taking the aggro off this dummy from me whatsoever, so he's not really going to be useful for a tank. And then we can test his damage out again a little bit later and see, does he actually deal much threat in terms of the damage output. So ultimately, that is the update to this new Astral Lockbox. Again, very controversial with regards to the rewards. And if you're not going to be opening like hundreds of these boxes, do not open them hoping to obtain these unique rewards. We did actually obtain quite a few here. The drop rates seem to, at least for me, increased since the last version. But again, seriously, only open these boxes for the trade bars so you can buy upgrade tokens from the trade bar store. It's a massive benefit being able to buy upgrade tokens for only 2 trade bars on the discount for mount and companions, getting them, being able to upgrade them very nicely. And as even a person who is just free to play, this is one of the best ways, since you're not going to be having many keys to open the alternative lockboxes. And any new lockboxes who have been released now don't have this 40 on average trade bars per box. They have way less. You could of course spend your keys on older variants of lockboxes like these ones, for example, and they will give you trade bars. This one here, you can see the middle section, whole bunch there, and they're just like Astral Lockboxes in the amount they give. And so I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of these channel members for the continued support. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.